Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Mike Haspil. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. So we're back. This is Happening's first show of 2019, and I'm going to be...
Episode 6,000.
I haven't talked to you all year.
Dick. That's not even true, though.
Got him.
Feel like I haven't seen you two in the same video chat all year, that's for sure, for at least since 2018.
I guess you got me on that one.
Okay, get on my level.
So I think we all kind of spread out and went to... Haspil, did you go somewhere? You stay at home?
I went to work.
Oh.
Like I literally worked through the holidays and everything. We had a number of proposals we were bidding and they were due. We thought the government shutdown would help us, but no, it didn't. Turns out...
How does that work?
Well, it turns out the government's not like really shut down.
Not actually shut down.
Just the parts they kind of don't want to fund.
Just the parts that, yeah, exactly. It's not really shut down. Just look around you.
You mean anybody just can't like walk into the country and be like, hi, I'm here?
I mean, I literally flew on Christmas Eve. TSA was still there, bro.
Ah, that's true.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
So still customs, still TSA. Makes sense, I suppose. Oh, people are just working for free? Oof.
Well, I mean, yeah. What's the term for that when you're a government employee? What's that term?
Furloughed.
Furlough.
Yeah, so they're supposed to get back pay, but basically they still got to go to work. It's just a raw crap deal all around.
It really sucks for the people.
Yikes.
Like, I made sure it was Christmas Eve. We flew at 11:59 p.m. Christmas Eve. I made sure. Normally, I've had fucking TSA agent. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've battled these fools. I fly all the time. I literally watch them because we go through security with Sarah and the dog, and I literally watch them like do all the extra bullshit on Bonet's bag. And I've literally watched the guy set her $1,400 MacBook Pro down and then put the other box right on top of it and shit. And me I literally knocked that shit out of his hand. Like that literally happened flying to the wedding. And I'm like, that's a fucking, $1,000, over $1,000 piece of equipment you just slammed a box on. He just looked at me like I was an asshole. I was like, no, you're an asshole. And then he goes to put it back in the box kind of hard. And I was like, motherfucker, you don't fuck with me right now. You know what I'm saying? And then he just and then this other guy came over, this other TSA agent came over and was kind of relieved the guy, So I'm 9 times out of 10, fuck those guys. But on Christmas Eve, furloughed, I was like, Merry Christmas to you and thank you. Merry Christmas to you and thank you. Every single one of them, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. Thank you. I get home tonight because of you guys. So
yeah, I guess there's that. You gotta represent. I
suspect that probably in the near future, when you go to check out and you use a credit card, and they always have something like, hey, would you like to donate $1 to a pet thing or to whatever, or when you walk into Buffalo Wild Wings to pick up your order and they're like, oh, you can give me a tip. I'm like, for handing me my food? No. But I suspect they're going to start having a thing would you like to help the federal deficit? $1 through $5.
This is
voluntary tax.
This is annoying because I actually I put it in the streamer mode and disable notifications in Discord, and people are posting pictures right now, and it's going fucking crazy, and it's ruining our podcast.
By people, I think he means me.
Professional.
Got him. So everybody decided to get me booze for the holidays. I provided a valuable service to the booze rescue service and adopted a nice bottle of Johnny Walker Black from my sister.
Did you?
You
actually rescued a bottle. Don't buy a new bottle of Johnny Walker. There's always one that needs to be rescued from a friend who doesn't know how to drink scotch.
Right. Yeah. She's like, I didn't really like this. It tastes bad. And I tried to mix it with a little Coke. And I was like, oh, oh yeah, here, just I'll give it a good home. I just give it to me.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what it is. Everybody just thinks, they're like, oh, what do we get Robbie B for Christmas? I know, cat stuff and booze, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all.
I mean, yeah. Do you have the same problem I have when people are like, man, you're so frustrated and so hard to shop for Christmas? Do people say that to you?
Yeah, kinda.
And I'm like, no, I literally don't care about Christmas. And I'm a grown ass man. And if I wanted something, I bought it already.
True.
So you actually don't have to give me anything. And if you do, it can just be something thoughtful, like a card with a personalized message in it. And that will not a head scrubber or some shit that I don't care about. Because if I did, I would have bought it. I have Facebook. I'm aware of these things.
Or booze.
You can give me booze, which is pretty nice because I was going to buy it anyway, and I just haven't bought it yet. And it's a consumable good. It's different,
Right?
You know, because I'm always going to run out. You know, so that's a good one. I'm not going to run out of, you know, Dickies t-shirts. Though I also love those for Christmas as well because I have 40 set of them now. So, Mom, maybe next year I don't need one.
I think that's the way it goes though. Like as a kid, you don't want to get clothes, but as an adult, you're like, man, I really hope I get some like sweet socks this year and some boxer briefs or whatever.
Somebody's like, is this part of the show or is this Tabletop Marketplace?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Yeah, in fact, I bought myself a whole ton of like 40K swag, bowls and glasses and stuff. That was like kind of Christmas. And then I bought myself some booze. So I bought 4 of the Game of Thrones Scotch tie-ins. So those were really cool, but I couldn't find the one I really wanted, which was the Talisker House Greyjoy. Because I think all of Colorado got like 1 bottle.
Those are actual facts.
I tried to find it everywhere, but it was like, and I'm going to trigger some people right now, but Talisker is better than Lagavulin. Fight me. Change my mind.
Change my mind.
So I was like,
I'm White Walker.
I was like, fight you. So if all I have to do is fight you and you change your mind, do I have to win the fight?
Do I have to what?
Like when you're like, fight me. And I'm like, so if I initiate into a fight with you and lose, have I still done the prerequisite required to change your mind on that?
Oh yeah, how does that?
Or do I have to beat you?
Yeah, but we have to do it in like the true Highland fashion. So, which means that we each drink a whole bottle of our champion scotch, and then we fight. Which probably means there's not going to be a fight because we're both going to be passed out.
Tight. All right, do some content.
Some real actual tabletop market watch, not this fake Christmas present market or market watch. So last week we got the White Dwarf, and also I'll just run down last week's stuff, pre-orders that are coming out actually this week. So we got new Age of Sigmar. The Grots are coming back as the Gloomspite Gits with a Z. Spell it like you say it. So you got the Gloomspire Gits Squig Hoppers. Box of 10 for $50. A box of 10 Squig Herders for $45. New Fanatics box of 6 for $40. I like the new Fanatics because they got both the crazy balls that they always like hit stuff. Yes, I say crazy balls, but also like flaming balls as well. Yes, I did say flaming balls. God help me. Those are $40. Everybody that's played Orcs and Goblins in the past have Fanatics, so they had to do something different. It makes sense. They look great. I like them. The Gloomspire Gits Grots is just the normal Night Goblins that have been out for years, but the box of 10 for $35. And then you've got the Battle Tome, of course, for $40. And the War Scroll cards, which we talked about in the pregame. I'd love these to come out for $40K. $15, and that's the new sideways kind of landscape format like we saw with Age of Sigmar 2.0.
Are they still as big as your face, though?
No, they of course I don't have any of the new ones. They
made them small?
They're like they're like half size. You know how like a War Scroll is about, like an index card size? They're basically index card size with rounded edges.
So like tarot card or bigger?
They're bigger than Taro. Taro's more of a rectangle. These are more of I guess an elongate. No,
an octagon.
Yes, an octagon.
That's what I named. That's what I named my penis.
A rhombus.
A rhombus. They're rhombusy. A trapezoid. You can look at them over on GDub's site if you want to check them out, Haspil. And what's nice about them is because they're literally like the index card size. If they're too big for the index card, they have centerfold status. So some of them fold out, and then you have like the extra rules. It's kind of neat.
That is cool. That's very cool.
I wish they would do it for 40K, like so bad. They've got a new Endless Spells box that's 35. The Squig dice, they look like they bounce. I'm definitely excited to get my hands on some of these.
It'd be awesome. They actually made them out of bouncing ball material. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they have this little trailer going on their site right now where you see them like bouncing, and then squigs are following them. I don't know. Maybe they made them out of the stuff that they made the Nurgle dice out of. But those are a set of dice is $30, and then they have a new terrain piece too that's $60. The Loonshire. It looked pretty big. It looked definitely bigger than a giant. But all of those will be out this week. They went on pre-order last week because there was a week in between there where there was no releases.
Okay. Do you need me to fill dead air for you?
No. Somebody was saying in the comments that they do bounce, which I kind of suspected, so it's awesome to hear. You can have some fun with those. Coming out on pre-order this week is the Warhammer 40K Urban Conquest box set, which is $100 US. It looks to contain stratagem cards, location cards. There's a map that actually is the old Voguing campaign map from Codex City Fight from 2011.
Oh shit, that's
2001.
Oh yeah,
that's
good.
I played that campaign.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did. So that same map is on there, but it looks like you kind of play it differently. Like you put cards in pockets or something, and then it shows a location.
I actually worked at a printing company, and a large format printed the map like 10 feet by something.
Oh wow!
Hung it on the wall for our store campaign.
Yep.
Wow, that's nice.
Because each location had like certain rules. Like if you were fighting in the alley, you got like an assassin.
Oh, and I was a graphic designer, so I graphic designed it all up, made it sick as fuck. And it was my store, the one I had in South Florida, Miami. It was huge, and we had little pins, and people were moving into territories and shit. Fucking awesome, bro.
So apparently that's more what this box set is about, but much smaller scale. It also comes with like, I think it was like 4 sprues of terrain, like rubble, and then also objectives and stuff. So $100 US. Not so sure about the price. They seem to be valuing their content more and more highly than in years past. But it is what it is. So we'll check that out and report back soon. The Gloomspire gets Mangler Squigs, re-releasing those, but they're going to be in plastic, and they look a lot better than the old resin Buster ones. But those are $80 for the box, and I can't tell if you get 2 or 1 in it.
Not happy with either of those numbers.
People used to take it and they would cut, because it's like 2 big squigs standing on top of each other, and they would cut the feet off and put 1 on each base. Like actually have 2 bases.
That's what we used to do in Nerdlings. You'd buy the box of Nerdlings and make it 4 bases. I actually do that. I do the opposite, because I've been cornering the market on out of print Nerdlings from the 90s. And so I have like 50 bases in Nerdlings now. And what I do is I break them off and pile them onto the fucking bases. I'm like, I'm so rich in OP out of print Nerdlings, like that I can afford to put 6 on a goddamn base. People will be like, 3's enough.
Yep, that's definitely a get. As long as you put some terrain and stuff on there, I think that's acceptable.
I'm actually going to be doing another series of eBay rescue videos for LVO. It's been almost
working on
Nurglings again. Because It's been about a year since I washed the market out, and now they're all coming back, and I just sniped them all off the market again. So for LVO, I have like 38 Nurgling bases.
Oh my goodness. I was going to say, like, how many Nurgling bases do you need?
None.
Need? I
mean, technically all of them. as long as they were made in the 90s. Same thing with Scotch, man. It's like, don't go and buy a box of Nurglings when there's a Nurglings that need to be rescued. They're looking for a home.
Just out there, just looking for a home. They're so jovial. They're so happy. I think I have one right. Oh, you know what? I found one today. Check this out. I got a Nurgling chilling right here. He's the Muncher Nurgling. He's chomping on the little, what is that, tabard from Mr. Screwdriver.
Can you give me like 50 of those?
No, but I'll give you one.
It's like 50.
He reminds me of my cat. I got one of my cats. Apparently cats have flavors of things they like. Like some cats like paper, some cats like plastic, and they'll munch on exclusively that. Like I have a paper.
So can I do a callback to earlier when you said cats are people? That's not people-like behavior. I'm just saying.
No, people eat things. Have you ever heard of like, what is that, pica, where you like lick paint off of cars and stuff?
So cats are mentally ill people. Got it.
Well, now you're just twisting things.
I'm sorry I hurt your feelings.
No, you haven't hurt my feelings. Also coming out this week are Dankhold Troggoths. Dankhold Troggoths, where you can make the Troggoth boss or the larger. I think they're on an 80 mil base. I haven't looked. The $65 for that kit. New Rock Gut Troggoths. Those are basically the rock trolls. $60 for that kit of 3. They have the hero box. I think it's like 5 of them. They're called Gobapalooza for $50. These guys are so much fun. And then Sneaky Snufflers. The Sneaky Snuffler box set, Kenny.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. For $40. Those are the guys that find
It's not funny unless you decide what Snuffler means.
Yeah. you have to decide for yourself what Snuffler means here.
That's your journey. Like, like your narrative, what is a Snuffler?
What is a Snuffler?
That could be our new word for hobo.
This goddamn Snuffler.
Look at the Snuffler right here. Then they got a Loon Boss, which is $25 for probably just a one sprue plastic kind of deal. Coming out with new terrain, the Manufactorum, which looks to be 2 more sprues of the dope. What is it? Capital City Manufactorum, Imperialis, all of the prefixes and suffixes of words.
Galvanic magma vent.
Yeah. And a bunch of paperbacks and hardbacks and 1 audiobook coming out too for the Horus Heresy. So pretty decent line. I mean, you got 40K, you got Sigmar. I've heard that they're in the Battle Tome. There's for the Gits. There's also War Scrolls for the ones that are in Warhammer Underworld's Night Vault. So they actually have their War Scrolls for the first time in the book.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So you can play them in. I mean, they all have ones you can download, but this actually
is actually in the book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what else have I heard about the stuff coming out? I think this is everything that will be out for release wise, but they definitely made a point to. I would imagine if they put the one Warhammer Underworlds set in there, it'll be out soon. It seems like they're syncing up the Warhammer Underworld expansion releases with Magic card releases. So I imagine we'll see one this month. And I think they also said Titanicus was coming out this month, the Reaver Titan. So that'll be cool to see too. So that's kind of everything that's on the radar. Rumor wise, we have heard or have been hearing from reliable sources that end of January, early February was the timetable for Gene Stealer Cult coming back out.
Ooh.
So,
yeah, there were pictures of that one. I don't know if she's a cult priestess or whatever, but kind of looks like Okoye from Black Panther.
Tight.
Yeah.
Who played her?
Dana Garai. Dana Garai. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't remember.
Jacket Clothes Painting wants to know if Troggoths. What faction do Troggoths belong to? Well, they're Troggoths, so you can technically ally them with destruction. They are Gloomspire Gits, but they're also Troggoths. Oh, I guess that's actually a good question.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things. It's apparently Gloomspite, not Gloomspire.
I don't know why I keep saying Gloomspire. It's Gloom's Fight. I know this. I also caught myself saying Wrath and Glory instead of Wrath and Rapture. It's just all of these like
Yeah. Well, Wrath and Glory is the RPG, right?
Yes,
No.
the pen and paper RPG
right,
Yeah.
and then Wrath and Rapture is the
by Ulysses Games.
the box set that came out. So like, yes,
And
they
then
are.
a couple of folks are asking what we think about the price hike on paints.
Oh yeah, so I guess we should cover that. So most of the paints went up 30 cents US. Also, some of the start collecting boxes went up $5 to $10. Averaged out to about 7% price hike. Been the same price since 2016. Actually, about this time. I don't know. What do you think, Haspil?
It will not affect me. I'm going to buy the paints I need anyway. So
Somebody said in the
they've got
webcast that it's at the point where it's like, if you think you're going to collect everything, nah, like just buy what you want.
no, yeah, and I haven't been buying all the paints because I live in Colorado where paints come to die. So I got a starter set of paints, like the big monster paint thing. I think, oh boy, it was probably 2002, maybe. That was the last time I did that. Otherwise, I just buy the paints I need, and I don't stick to just Citadel. I buy whatever color I need, you know.
Yep. Like, I
And
mean,
I'm not so old school to mix my own because I have, you know, I have other things to do, frankly.
I honestly can't get mad about a 7% inflation, which on something that hasn't been raised in price for 2 years. You know, like, and that's just like inflation proofing a product. As a
Yeah, I mean, if
manufacturer.
you-
it's just, I mean, it's basic. I mean, like the basics of capitalism in a lot of ways, you know, like it's not necessarily how you value it. Like you can't even ask the question like, well, how do they value this? It's like, no, that's not what they said in their meeting. They said,
and
how much can we charge? And they'll still pay for it is what they said.
Yeah. And it's like, if you don't like it, that they are not the only miniatures paint provider out there. There's a dozen other companies, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of times paint is what I buy when I go to a store and I'm just going to BS or just to visit or whatever. I always try to buy something, and it's easy to buy paint because I can grab 2 pots, throw them a tenner, you know what I mean, out the door.
Yeah, I mean, like I only buy Flash Gets Yellow, Evil Sun, Scarlet from Ed from GW. It's only 2 colors because as far as washes go, Army Painter all day, every day, Quick Shades, the best in the business. GWs are second best. They're still really good. But why am I going to pay their prices when Army Painter's got a better pricing tier and a better product for their washes? I'm not a huge fan of the Army Painter paints, but I still have some in my lineup. Use a lot of P3 paints because they are a really good deal and heavy pigment. I stopped almost exclusively using Vallejo because honestly, my opinion of Vallejo paints has kind of shifted over the years. I think they're garbage. I think they're highly inconsistent as a product. Like from pot to pot, different colors, different
That's true.
separation issues. Like, not a fan, but I do live on a steady diet of Vallejo Flow Improver.
Yeah, I actually do like Vallejo paints.
I like their colors. Their colors are so fucking good. But I
like the Vallejo Air and honestly, I love their bottles because they don't dry out.
There's things about them I still like, right? But over the years that I've been doing this professionally and everything, where I go through a lot of paint, I've seen a lot of inconsistency with them specifically. And now my new shit is all up on the Pro Acrylics set for Monument and Creature Caster. Now that, you know, Slow Fuse Gaming became Monument, then they merged their production company with Creature Caster and they put out this new line of like 30 paints that I basically used on multiple projects at the end of the year. Did the Krampus from Creature Caster, did the new Holiday Hellboy from Mantic. We got VIP access on both of those, except Dave Taylor, that hobo, also got a fucking Holiday Hellboy. The fucker. And I love them. And they have bottles that twist, which I like. At first I didn't like them, but here's something you'll like too. They have twist bottles. They're twists.
And that seals.
The only thing that sucks is they do get a little like nipple on them. I haven't had any issues with that yet because it's like every time I close it, it pops off. But there's also a seal in here that you have to rip off Haspil. So like any paints you haven't opened yet will never dry out.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
And as far as professional grade acrylic goes, I tried to reserve judgment. I did 2 projects. I'm working on my 3rd. I didn't want to just come in there and suck a dick of my friend and be like, yo, well, my friend's paints are the best paints. They didn't pay me to say any of those things, but after doing 3 projects, I'm getting to the place now where it's hard for me to say they're not the best paints in the game.
Yeah.
That they're the most professional artist level pigment I've ever used in a miniature paint ever. And so they're going to be replacing almost everything for me.
Well, I like the fact that you can mix. Theoretically, you can mix.
They're designed
exactly
what Rob said. They're designed for someone to kind of like learn art. They have half of their colors are straight pigment green, pigment red. So they don't have all those cool colors you're used to. So like people are like, what about necrotite green? Well, do you realize necrotite green is just pigment green mixed with a little bit of pigment yellow? Right?
Yeah.
And I basically did it on camera where I made necrotite green in 4 seconds. You couldn't tell them apart. Like, so.
The thing is, they're not entry level, or if they want them to be entry level, they need to produce, hey, how to make these entry level for folks. And there's really great products out there that aren't entry level, where you got things like Army Painter that is entry level right off the shelf. Yeah. $3 for a pot. You get 18 milliliters of paint, 12 compared to GW. So for like half the price, or for almost half the price, you get half as much. You get 50% more.
Yeah.
So. Those are tough numbers to even.
No, it's true. So like if you haven't gotten but that's cool. What like that Monument Hobbies and CreatureCast are so invested in the streaming community is like there is a resource available to people who want a superior product and learn how to use it in the form of video content that people like you and me create. And as far as value goes, I think it's $89 for 30, and they're 20 milliliters.
Yeah, they're definitely bigger, and they sell the empty bottles too. So if you want to twist off in the seal.
Glass agitator inside of each bottle.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, because like my dilemma right now is I haven't painted anything since April, since last Adepticon. So it's like I already know that out of all my Citadel paints, they're probably all just putty right now.
Oof.
Just because it's been so long, it's so dry out here. I mean, some of them might be salvageable, but I haven't even looked. I just am planning to, in 2 years or whenever I get back to painting, I'm going to just have to buy all new paints. So.
Truth. Somebody in chat just asked me what I thought about Army Painter. I touched on it briefly. Army Painter is a sponsor, but people sponsor me because they know I don't lie. I'm not a huge fan of their paints. I do like their new line of like monster pigments and stuff. I think those are a little bit more high quality than their normal line, but they, from the horse's mouth, have always told me as a sponsor that our paints are not for those people who like to do those golden demon things and do all the soft glazing and everything like that.
No,
their paints come with a shitload of medium in it that you're actually supposed to squirt a shitload of it out before you even shake the pot. It's there to keep the paint lasting longer. That's not what they're for. And so I'm at a level of painting where they don't provide me with much. They do have a few colors that I think are the best, like their blue line, amazing. Like Viking blue, Void Shield blue, ridiculously good. Like but their washes, the best in the game.
And the metals are tight too. That poppy gold and silver, like boom.
I swear by their colored primers. Colored primers.
The fact that you can, and again, they're obviously all sponsors of us, but at the end of the day, like. We're not. Do you go into work and do you say, hey, I realize I'm at work, but this dude wants to tip me. I'm not going to take his tip because I'm like helping him take his things out to his car or whatever. Like we would be stupid to not be like, oh, you want to be a sponsor of us? I've literally been using Army Painter for 10 years. I love their stuff.
But you can't pay me to say to be your official painter and say it's the best when not every element of it is the best. I will tell you what is the best about it and what makes it good, right? Heavy pigment paints, easy to use out of the bottle for entry level painting.
Exactly. And that's the thing, that when I explain it to people, kind of what we do, and they're like, wait, so people pay you to say things? I'm like, no.
No one has ever given me $1. I promise you. There's no money in this.
We don't even
community.
actually get paid. So second of all, we get stuff. And third of all, like we tell it how it is. Like I'm not going to get up here and have a bunch of different models that have a bunch of different paint schemes and be like, well, let me try to do this with Army Painter and sell people on Army Painter. Like,
it's our job to get paid is what we always tell a sponsor. It's our job to get paid. Right. Not your job to give me money, because I also know this is a relatively poor market. So you can't ask some startup who's just got a new paint line off the ground to give you marketing money. No, give me product that you manufactured at a good rate, I'll figure out how to monetize that on my end. And that's always worked really well for us. And also the realness that Rob talked about. So everything we say, that's why you can trust us and why GW probably not a big fan of us is we don't lie.
Well, I think one of the
GW doesn't want you to ever mention somebody else's paint, you know?
Yeah, we said it earlier. GW has a thing about control. It's always been somebody at some level wants to have that level of control, and they have to have it. And the problem with that is you can't expect the folks you give these review copies in these promotion things to always say that you're the best. And oh yeah, Necrons are the best army out there. No, they're not. Like, their products are sometimes good, and I give them props, and sometimes they're bad, and I'll call them out on it all day, every day. And that's just how we are. That's where we're at. There's no hidden agenda. Like, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad.
I'll tell you what's not good right now is someone must have got a shipment of Chinese pigments in, because everyone on the market right now is making chameleon shift paints, color shift paints, like iridescence. Like, I can't tell you how many people sent me these, like, review my product, yo, blah, blah, blah. Like, even Green Stuff World, who I love, by the way, Green Stuff World makes amazing products, but they're like, check out our new paint line. And I just was like, I'm not going to use this. I'm sorry. Like color shift paints are not tight, bro. Like, and the fact that everyone's got one right now for some reason means that they're real cheap for some reason somewhere, like. Well,
I think it's like the new thing. And, there's folks out there like Turbo Dork. They're here in the States.
Oh, Turbo Dork is local to me. They gave me some. Yes. I looked at them and they're like, can you use these in the channel? And I was like, maybe, but I didn't. Turbo, I'm sure they make a good product, but I don't think color shift acrylic paints have a place in miniatures and at a real level.
Well, I will disagree with you there, because I'm going to use them, and I think.
Do you remember my Dark Eldar army from 4th edition? That was purple and then green.
Yeah. Do you ever remember? Do you ever remember me once coming up to you and saying, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen"? I don't like it. I don't like colored metallics. I think they limit our ability to create, final transitions. Like, they basically say light dictates how this model looks, not my hand, and I don't like that. That's not where I live as an artist. So, like,
I can respect that. That's fine.
So, like, on my platform, when people are like, check out my, Candy Red Blood Angels that I'm really proud of. I'm like, I'm glad you like them, and they do have a good aesthetic. That's where I'll leave it. But you'll never see me doing it.
Well, I think for a lot of people that at least come and enjoy the content that I put out, a lot of the folks have, they don't have a lot of time. They just want to get something that looks good, get it on the tabletop, and be proud of it. And I think for me, that's why, I want to show these paints off. And I've actually already prepped all the stuff to start doing it. It's just
which actually makes sense. Turns out the Long War, we have this huge amalgamation of different ways of presenting content. And I've actually said it multiple times. 2019 is actually Next Level Painting's second season. Like, we're in season 2 now. We have over 200 videos of beginners classes already in our archives. Over 200 beginners classes.
Wow.
So 2019 is going to see a huge wave of intermediate tutorials and lessons. And
I think it's
not, and that's where I'm at. That's where our side of the tutorials is going to be shifting to, where Rob will still be hitting you with everything.
Well, I've definitely noticed a resurgence in evergreen content, because a lot more hobbyists are coming in. So if you have those things that people can watch over and over again years later, like, as a matter of fact, today, the 9th of January 2019.
Oh my God, this is the fucking day?
This is the day. 6 years ago to this day, I put out my very first painting tutorial on YouTube. It was terrible. I thought it was the best thing ever at the time.
Rob, January 5th was my first YouTube video.
Which year?
2013.
13? Was it 13?
Or 15 maybe?
No, I think it was 15.
Can't be 15. 15?
Yeah.
So 2015. So this is an anniversary month for us.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, damn. And that means the Long War. When did we build the Long War? The Long War had to be this.
It was 2000. It was 3 years ago this month. No, 4 years ago.
4 years ago this month.
4 years ago this month. Yeah. And actually, 2019 has another special year, because Spiky Bits actually turns 10 years old in April.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
You know,
pretty spectacular.
we came up together because Next Level Painting turns 9 years old.
Yeah, 2010.
We came up together.
So it's kind of crazy.
We found each other. We found each other pretty quick. We've been working together. We've been working together since that day.
Yeah, I think definitely like right around 2010, 2011 for sure.
I know. Yeah, I can remember talking on the phone with you in my old Beats lab and painting like AdMech models and shit for you.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I had an old Iron Hands army. It's pretty dope. But yeah, so I think it's very important to always get the content out and try to cover as much, at least on the Spiky Bits end of things, cover as much things that are up and coming, because this hobby is so great and it's so wide and so varied that there's so many companies coming up with these great ideas. Like, let's talk about Magnet Baron for a second. Obviously sponsor, yes, but just take that aside and look at the products that he offers. Like, they literally take the hobby to the next level, like literally to the next level. Magnetization, ferrous movement trays, like you can literally save time.
Resin infused ferrous, Haspil.
It's crazy.
Our ferrous infused resin movement trays, so that your magnets are just in the bottom of your model and they just are magnetized now.
Mm-hmm. They just are magnetized. Really cool. Like you've got game changers out there. Elric's Hobbies putting out resin bases in like every size imaginable. They're like the only one
like
doing
every quarter, new designs. like, bro,
like there's so many companies that have come up in the past couple of years, and they continue to come up. Like Kenny was saying with the color change paint. So it's important that we try to get the coverage for them, or at least show the products or try to use the products as much as possible. I think it's very important for the hobby in general to get that message and those products out there, and even showcase stuff that like I showed in the webcast. I showed my purple pad that I sit on all the time. Like that's something that
I'm going to turn that into a gift. Don't worry, what you did on that pad is going to live in infamy.
Sitting on this model
for 10 years. You hopping, and all I can basically see is crotch and ass hopping up and down on the seat.
But you don't know it's me because you can't see my face.
I think everyone's going to put it together. Those bony hips only belong to one man.
My bony hips don't lie, Kenny.
Okay, so 2019, year of the Trail of Skulls, as my financial CPA has told me, it's going to be an amazing year. Haspil, what do you have for Tabletop Marketplace?
Yeah, so this came out, I guess, in November, but I discovered it last week because I haven't been going to the game store and haven't had time to do anything. So I wandered in just to kind of BS with people and everything, and remember way back when we were talking about how Games Workshop had partnered with Wizards, and we were thinking what product? WizKids, yes,
yeah,
not Wizards of the Coast, WizKids. Well, it's a Dice Masters game called Battle for Ultramar, and it has 2 expansions, Orcs and Space Wolves, and it comes with Chaos and Ultramarines. And I love the Dice Masters games. If anybody's played those, they're kind of like a deck builder game, only you use dice, and they are a lot of fun. Great amount of replayability, all kinds of stuff like that. I scooped it up. It's pretty cool. The box comes with a built-in plastic thing to hold all your stuff. Yeah, it's really neat, and it retails for about, I think I paid $40 for it. So it's a lot of fun. It's just something else to do, in the 40K IP.
All right. Well, then I'll take this opportunity to send us on commercial break for first time in 2019. And then we'll be right back with some Crimson Fists and more Robbie B. Finally, the Long War swag is here. LongWarSwag.com, the official home of Long War merchandise. We've got a range of merchandise exclusive to the Long War brand, Next Level Painting, and Spiky Bits. Definitely log in today while supplies lasts. Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com. elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. I told you, Rob, to be back. Break down that Crimson Fist hype.
I was actually here the whole time. Just not where you guys were. So Games Workshop is doing this new thing with the White Dwarf, and they're putting new rules content in here for Sigmar.
I don't think that's new. I think they've done that before.
No, this is every month, and it's happening all the time. Opinions aside, it's professionally laid out. It's nice. It's easy to put this into some sort of, in the past they had Index Astartes books that they would put out after they came out with a year's worth of content or so. They may do that. They may put it in a chapter approved, or maybe even a chapter approved, or maybe something like a Space Marine 2.0 book. But either way, it's all laid out. They said they're going to do more of them. It's a nice feature overall where you get some history, some new fluff on a particular chapter or a faction. They said it could be Xenos. Next month's is Sigmar. And then you get a paint guide. I don't know if there's always going to be a paint guide, but it was nice to see. There was kind of lacking on the hobby content side of this month's White Dwarf, unfortunately. But when it comes to the supplement, you got your new chapter tactics, basically warlord traits, strats, relics, and the standard like infantry biker dreadnought, other than servitor and the Crimson Fist detachment gain the no matter the odds, so they get a special tactic basically. So the Defenders of Humanity special rule hasn't changed. It's basically OBSEC. The no matter the odds, and this is something that we're going to see might be important going forward, because it can kind of stack with things. So add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made with this unit that target an enemy unit that contains at least twice as many models as their own.
This is a stratagem?
No, it's basically their chapter tactic.
The chapter tactic toy
for infantry bikers dreadnoughts, Crimson Fist in the detachment. So if they're targeting an enemy unit that contains at least twice as many models as them, they can add 1 to hit rolls, and then dreadnoughts count as 5 models for purposes of this rule.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and this could combo.
It's a good rule. There's some stacks. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Vigilus Primaris stuff, I think. So then it goes down to the Warlord trait section, and there's 3 of them. And you can roll a d3, randomly generate, or just pick it if you want. The first one is Tenacious Opponent. If there are at least 10 enemy models within 6 of this warlord when he fights in the fight phase, add d3 to his attacks characteristic until the end of the phase.
It's basic. Look, we talk about it all the time. Like, there's two types of warlord traits. One that like is an actual like force multiplier. One that is like, I'm more of a badass. That's I'm more of a badass, but it's not that much badass. It's okay. It's cool. It's like, but he has to be, he has to have what, 10 or more models, you said?
10 or more.
So it's not good. Like, it's not competitive.
I think I was going to make the argument that it would be good for Slam Captain, but then Slam Captains don't really wade into squads.
Yeah, but Space Marine, but like Blood Angel Captain, Slam Captains can do that with quickening and just have D3 more attacks, not if I'm outnumbered 10 to 1.
Right. So I think it kind of falls flat a little bit. The second one is Refuse to Die. The first time this warlord is reduced to 0 wounds, roll 1d6 on a 4-up, set him up again at the end of the phase. as close as possible as his previous position, more than 1 inch away from enemy models, with D3 wounds remaining.
See, that one's cooler for a slam captain because he could do like, oh, you killed me, play a stratagem, fight, do death, do duty end or whatever, fight again. Then it'll form you back up and you're not actually dead.
So savage.
So that could be cooler, but still basic. Only because I know the third one.
Stoic Defender. All friendly Crimson Fist infantry, biker, and dreadnought units have Defenders of Humanity ability while they are within 6 inches of this warlord. If a Crimson Fist unit already has this ability, then each model in the unit counts as 2 models for the purposes of determining who controls objective markers.
That's the one.
6.
So it gives everyone objective secure, and if you already have it, double objective secure.
Yeah,
seems good.
That's what I'm talking about. 2 different types of warlord traits here. That's the one. It's a good one.
I think, I definitely agree with you there. 6 inches of Warlord's pretty solid for sure. And I mean, when has a dreadnought ever been able to like hold an objective and be obsec? Oh, and now I count as 2. So that one little scout that normally or guardsman would just be tee and he's like, not today.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, and that means 5 Space Marines or 10 Space Marines, and the Warlord is also objective secure. So it's him and 5 Space Marines is 11 models that are objective secure.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think it's solid. Stratagem wise, they got Boucher drill, which was, I believe, already in the book. But we'll read it anyways. So use it just before Crimson Fist infantry unit attacks in the shooting phase. Until the end of the phase, each time you make a hit roll of 6+ for a model from that unit firing bolt weapon, that model can immediately make another hit using the same hit roll using the same using the same weapon at the same target. These bonus attacks cannot generate further attacks. And then they go into, for the purposes of the stratagem, a bolt weapon is any weapon whose name includes the word bolt, bolt gun, bolt rifle, heavy bolter, bolt storm gauntlet. Also, Duty's Burden, which is a relic in here, and Pedro Cantor's Dorn's Arrow are also bolt.
See, already got our first stack, Haspil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you need 6s create more shots. If you're shooting anyone naturally who has 20 more models, you're +1 to hit. It didn't say unmodified 6s. So it's already like really nice stack for someone like Sternguard or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right there. You know, hitting on 2s and 5s generate more hits. They hit on 2s. Pretty good.
What is it though? So the Indominus Crusader stratagems. So you can target a character, which is cool. Bolt Storm. Nope, not that one. Change to Rapid Fire 2. That's a cool stratagem.
You're looking up to see if it already existed, or what do you?
No, I'm looking in the strats for the Indominus Crusaders out of Vigilus. So if they have the veteran keyword, they add 1 to attacks and leadership characteristics. No, not that one. Oh, this is the one that does 2 wounds. So there isn't any pluses. I thought there was just the rapid fire 2. I mean, getting pluses and being rapid fire 2 would be pretty dope.
Yes.
All right. Then we've got a hated foe, which is 1 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of the phase. Select 1 Crimson Fist unit from your army. Until the end of your phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by that unit when targeting orcs.
So you can see a trend here. Shooting a unit with over 20 models, +1 to hit. Right? Then exploding 6s. So now you're hitting on 2s and 5s during more hits. And now you're shooting orcs.
Reroll wounds. Straight
Reroll
up.
wounds.
Solid.
Wow.
And orcs are popular right now, so that's pretty good.
Well, and if you remember that the original, going way back like 25 years, the original like Crimson Fist painting, they're fighting orcs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's kind of cool that they're like buying into that whole, like they're traditional against orcs.
Give me some more, Rob.
Oh, that's right. There's actually Crimson Fist stuff in Vigilus itself too. Anyways, the last stratagem is select 1 Crimson Fist unit from your army until the end of the phase. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit when targeting characters. And then we know there's the stratagem that allows you to pick out characters in Vigilus, but also for 1 CP. So the Siegebreaker cohort is... Oh, that's Imperial Fist. Crimson Fist, there we go. Reroll 1s for friendly Liberator Strike Force units that are within 9 of your Warlord. That's a Warlord trait. Remember, you can spend 1 CP to just take that Warlord trait, not as a Warlord, but you can throw it on a character. And then you've got... Oh, okay, yeah, so you can explode the dice. Until the end of the phase, each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of 6, now this is unmodified, for an attack made by the unit's ranged weapons, that attack inflicts 2 hits instead of 1. So you don't get to plus it, but it's still pretty good.
So if you did them both together, 5s and 6s would generate 1 additional dice
And
that you would have to roll again. Every 6 would generate 2 free hits.
Right, and 2 hits, and that's a hit. That's not a roll dice. It's just a hit.
No,
so you can put that in your 2 wound pile.
So your all 5s and 6s generate a scattering of dice that you have to roll again, and every 6 is a already hit. Like it can get really interesting. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, this is cool. And reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly. I mean, granted, you're probably going to have a captain or somebody or
absolutely.
something, but whatever.
No, it's pretty good, man. Like, and we also talked about, we'll talk about it up, is like most, Imperial Knights are all characters. So it's like, unit of Storm Guard, +1 to hit against characters, exploding 6s, special ammunition, all sorts of crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this is a pretty cool set of rules.
The relics are pretty neat. You got the Fist of Vengeance, which is
that's the cool fist. One. Power Fist that becomes a Thunderhammer that you don't have any modifiers to hit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 strength, times 2 strength, -3 AP, straight 3 damage. No, -1 to hit.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
And then there's the Super Bolter, which you can upgrade a Primaris, it looks like. So bolt rifle, mastercrafted auto bolt rifle, or a mastercrafted stalker bolt rifle only. Replaces the bearer's bolt rifle or whatever. Has the following profile: 36-inch range, rapid fire 2, strength 5, -2, 2 damage.
Cool. Pretty cool.
It's funsies. It's definitely funsies, but that's this, bloat aside, it's cool to see these type of rules because it seems like they're getting more attention when they dedicate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of fluff, 2 pages of rules, talking about them showcase wise. That's another 3 pages. Then you get a paint guide. That's literally over 10 pages. And, you're talking, that's a chunk of the Space Marine Codex. I think the Space Marine Codex is 150 pages. But imagine if they did that for each chapter. Like they'd have a 300-page Space Marine book. So I like the fact that it gives them the opportunity to expand on the rules and add more stuff in that they might not already be able to put in Space Marine Codex. And overall, I think the White Dwarf format, not having the ads, is a bonus because now we get columns, we get fiction, we get stuff like that. But the gluten-free gut check in me definitely wonders, is this because people complained about it so much, or is this because they couldn't get the pricing right? And in a lot of cases, they weren't putting stuff in that really was that far down the line because they were worried about this getting posted on the internet, which we're already seeing the rules get posted on the internet. So that might not be as valid of a thing, but it's definitely something that goes through my flow chart of why are they changing the White Dwarf? Maybe they just want to give people a better experience. I don't know.
I mean, 2019, maybe GW's commitment to excellence and innovation is, being triggered here. Like that'd be
well, they're stepping stuff up across the board. I mean, they put out that video where they were showing like Peachy in armor, like they had a whole studio that they were standing up. They're definitely going this year. They're going to bring the heat. I think with the last 2 years, they were getting used to the environment and getting, hey, how can we do things a little bit better? I think they've figured that out, and they're going to hit it hard.
Yes, and they should, because they have the budget to support.
Yeah, man. Well, think about, if they put out, I don't know how they're going to do that animated show, if it's just going to be a web series or whatever, but man, that could make 40K explode. Like unprecedented.
Agreed. That'd be huge. I want GW to step up and be the market leader within their own IP and they haven't been for years. Right? And I want them to, because they have, like I said, it's like, to me, it's a money thing, right? We can all do our best to try to create awareness for this hobby, but we're going to be always throttled by how much money we can throw at that. Mm-hmm. And they are a huge company with a budget dedicated to it. And now that they got their sea legs under them, fuck yeah, man.
I'm just saying, like Hasbro, it's like Transformers were an obscure Japanese brand that got hijacked by an American company, and then they made a cartoon about it. That's what sold the toys. You know what I mean? So it could get ridiculous.
Well, again, now I see the potential there, but the cartoon was aimed at kids too, so it's like it'll bring people into the hobby for sure.
Well, I don't think this cartoon's going to be Hell's Reach or Game of Thrones. I really don't.
No, but I don't think it's going to be aimed at kids. I think that's why they're doing the books and stuff.
But when you say aimed at kids, you have you have Constructicon right behind you. You were not a kid when Transformers came out. I wasn't a kid. I watched it.
Yeah, I was. Well, I was younger than 10.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude. Okay, so I'm immature and old.
It's okay. We still love you. No, I don't think they're. Well, there is no Saturday morning cartoons anymore, I guess. But I don't think they're aiming at the Saturday morning cartoon and crowd.
No. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that a lot of people that right now don't know anything about Warhammer 40K, or they just see memes on Facebook, right? Hey, have you seen this cartoon that's an anime on Netflix or whatever? I'm not saying it's going to be on Netflix. I don't know where they're going to put it, but that's how people get that stuff now. You know what I mean? And then you find out, wait a minute, there's a game based on this? Oh no, there's not just one game. There are multiple games and computer games and a whole IP centered around this. It could explode. And I'm hoping that that kind of happens and that they're ready for it. I think that's what they're positioning themselves for, because when they set up that new content, they have Peachy and that armor and everything like that. I think they're prepping for a digital like push on how much content they're going to be putting out, how much consumable stuff that they can flood, not just social media with, but everything. I would hope that's the kind of play I would make, but I'm not running that company, so I don't know.
Well, we've seen stuff like this before, not in this magnitude, and we've seen the funding get cut. We've seen whole web departments get gutted. We've seen them pulling out of social media and deleting all their Facebook pages. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope these folks have a job. I think a modern company, if you do that nowadays, you're done. I mean, this happened in 2013. This was only 6 years ago. So, yeah. A lot has changed in 6 years. That's true. Rob. Yes, agreed. But it wasn't a long time ago that we can just be like, oh, that was so long ago. But digital wise, it's kind of a long time. Right. Sure. Yeah, I give you that. I would like to point out too the fact that the White Dwarf, the team is significantly smaller in the White Dwarf. Now, I don't know what that means anything. Maybe that's just a pilot episode, whatever. It's just worth mentioning. Again, don't know what it means. But I would like to weigh in on the White Dwarf thing too. The fact that it is $9. I did some research when we did our review of the new White Dwarf format, and $9.99 seems to be the average rate of the going rate of any trade kind of periodical magazine. Consumer, from a consumer standpoint. So they're not overpriced compared to mainstream. However, in my suggestions post that we did about how to make the White Dwarf great again and get people buying it, one of my suggestions was lowering the price to $5 or $6. Just because of the fact that when it was weekly and it was $4, they routinely sold out of stores across the board, hearing it from a ton of stores. Now you can generally go in and find the White Dwarf on a shelf or two, and across the board, every store I visit, every weekly talk I have with store owners or people in the hobby, they're like, oh yeah, I'm ordering less. You know, I had to cut my auto shipment down to 5. I had to cut it down to 10. It used to be 20, 25 and stuff. So I can't say for sure that they're selling less, but I know they would sell more if it went to $4. Might not be priced right for, you know, all this funding that they're putting into it. So I can't really say. I can just say what used to work in the past.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's an exciting time. I'm a little apprehensive, of course, because of the rules bloat. And I think a lot of those rules coming in 7th edition, from formations to even the assassin rules were White Dwarf exclusive for the longest of time. I think really, really hurt the game. That doesn't happen again. I hope they have a clear path to market down the road for these rules, so we don't have to bring a White Dwarf and our Codex and our Vigilus and our chapter approved to the table. Although we all should have these content.
Yeah. Well, how about, and I'm just thinking out loud here, just spitballing, but would you be willing to pay for 40K 8.5 edition that had a consolidated Space Marine Codex with all the rules, like from the White Dwarf and everything in it?
Oh, it's coming. It isn't a question of whether I want it or not. It's happening. It's gonna happen. They're gonna put out these 2.0. I was saying they're gonna put out 2nd edition books of this, and then all of a sudden the 2nd edition Age of Sigmar out of nowhere. That was crazy, and it was probably crazy in a good way for the game. But I think it's gonna happen. I mean, a lot of the rule books are out of date with all these FAQs and everything. They're just out of date. You know, literally you have to pick up a codex, and then you have to go check the FAQ, and to see that a lot of things have changed. All the point values are incorrect in the back, and that's why I get a little, my beehole puckers a little bit when I see, oh, I gotta buy the chapter approved to get the points changes. I don't feel like that's right. I paid for that content. I want that content. You wanna change the game. You want to introduce new rules. You want to FAQ it. You want to put out new beta content. That's cool. I have no problem paying for that. But points changes, I feel like, should be a downloadable document that I can print out, separate, slide it into the back of my book so I can read my book, have my little slide out, be looking at points as I'm looking at units. Okay, that's good. Okay, how much is that weapon? Okay, cool. Because I already do that already. I take a picture of it, I print it out, and I slide it in the back of the book.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me, though. I mean, that's my opinion. I think having these periodicals and this content and updating the game is great, and we're very, very fortunate to have such updates when games out there don't even get past the 1st edition. Games with 2.0s right now are struggling across the board. War Machine, X-Wing.
Yeah, you're not lying, man.
It's a wild, wild world out there, and I think just the fact that we have these rules is a boon.
I agree with you on that. But I think you guys did a great job. I was like, damn, I don't think we have enough Crimson Fist content. And your guys' final discussion, I think, saved this podcast. So I don't think we need to do any more than that. I don't know, but what do you think, Rob?
Don't give me an open mic. I'll talk.
So before we go, I just want to plug my little stupid podcast, Quantum Froth Dispatches, because some people told me that I should talk about it on the Long War. And we've just started a new thing where we're talking about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. So you can jump in right with the Space Seed episode and catch all this deep dive nerd analysis.
You know, that's crazy. That means you spent so much time on Conan.
What's that?
You spent too much time on Conan.
I actually addressed that. That's how the Space Seed episode starts, that somebody was giving me grief that I spent too much time on Conan. And I say, well, strap it in lock, because now I'm going to talk about Star Trek, and I can literally talk about that until I die.
Rob, catch everybody up real quick before we get out of here on the article on Spiky Bits for the Long War Doubles.
What? Sorry, you cut out there. What article?
article on Spiky Bits for the Long War doubles.
Oh yeah, let me get that for you guys.
Long War doubles LVO. It's about a month away, guys. We have an article. Rob will send a link out to everyone who's watching this live. And if you're not watching this live and you're just listening to this in your journey to work, there's an article. It's pretty easy to find.
Just go to Spiky Bits and in the search field, type in Long War doubles. It's most likely the top article. But here it is for the general kind of rundown and format for things. It's also over on Frontline Gaming. All right, Haspil, take us out of here.
Bullshit. That's not what she said. What she said doesn't make any sense.